There's plenty of games I remember from my childhood years growing up playing on the original Nintendo. Double Dragon, Super Mario Brothers, Bubble Bobble. All were tons of fun and very simple in their presentation. Then there's other games that, while they weren't my favorite, they pretty much became sort of standard issue back then if you owned an NES. These include but aren't limited to, in my opinion, the original Legend of Zelda, Contra, Excitebike, and of course, Bionic Commando. We all remember this classic from back in the day, even though it would be almost 30 years till I actually saw the ending. Yeah. I can log this one into the played but never beat as a kid bin. Didn't beat it till I was recording the footage for this game. Released in 1988 by Capcom, Bionic Commando had very different origins and backstory in America, compared to its original Japanese release. Let's grapple our way through this bitch. The storyline is simplistic enough. Taking place in the 1980s, you take control of a soldier named Rad Spencer. How rad is that? The game talks about when Rad, I assume was a kid, and a magical book was found called Albatross. Apparently there was something bad about this book, so whatever was in it was never put into practice. However, one day a dude by the name of Generalissimo Killit, head of the Imperial Forces and the leader of the Empire, decided to try and use the book, which contained knowledge apparently created by a group called Bads. Whatever the fuck that means. So, the Federation sent in a soldier called Super Joe in order to stop shit from going down. And just like the original Metal Gear, Super Joe disappeared. Shit. They should have sent in Beautiful Joe instead!
Head to the go-go, baby!
Well, that's pretty much all the backstory there is in this game, so off we go! You have a brief conversation with some sort of radio device, and the commander, or whoever the hell is in charge, I guess, tells you to locate Super Joe and to contact various other Federation members along the way. Next is the map screen, which, I'll be honest, when we were kids playing this shit, we didn't have a fucking clue as to what we were supposed to do here. We just randomly moved around and played levels. The point of this is actually to pass through certain levels, pick up weapons, equipment, and other things like communicators on your way to face the end boss, located in Area 12. You rescue Super Joe along the way, though, in Area 7. You make it to the end, get attacked by the completed Albatross, kill it, and escape just as everything gets blown to hell. The end. Now, besides the obvious nostalgia of yesteryear, Bionic Commando is actually a pretty fun game, and had some terrific gameplay elements for the time. The ability to not only move horizontally via your grappling hook, but also the ability to swing back and forth was a neat idea. And a lot of the time, we just sit there and fuck around in Area 1, swinging around and trying not to get killed. The graphics are pretty much on par for the NES, not really many standouts. The sound and music, I think, are much more remembered than the visuals. Not only was the sound of the grappling hook firing out and latching onto things memorable, but the soundtrack is too. I believe the Area 1 music, almost any gamer from the 80s should be able to recognize with ease. I mentioned earlier that the original Japanese release had some sizable changes compared to the game we're all familiar with in the US. Mainly, the game was focused around Nazis, and the final boss being Adolf Hitler. And as such, the title of the original release was Hitler's Revival Top Secret. Over the years, Bionic Commando really hasn't seen much attention, but that's kind of accepted, I guess. During the late 2000s, there was a reboot / re-release / remaster of the original game called Bionic Commando Rearmed, that was released on 7th generation systems and the PC. It was followed in 2011 with a sequel, Bionic Commando Rearmed 2. Both carry on the tradition of 2D gameplay, but with super overhauled graphics and sound. Now, there was another release in the series, which, much like Sonic 06, was simply named Bionic Commando and came out in 2009, in between the Rearmed games. This game, unlike every other game in the series, is a third-person action game, which can take a little getting used to. I've seen a few reviews of it online and whatnot. The graphics don't look that bad. I've never played the 2009 release, but I don't remember it getting much coverage, so I suppose it isn't too stellar. Overall, Bionic Commando is a fun little action game from the greatest decade ever. It probably won't go down in any official game lists or best games on the NES, but we all know that this one is certainly a classic. Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, go grapple onto it.